So you've been ranging Bandos for a while now, but let's be real, it's starting to feel like watching paint dry, right? Don't worry, I got you covered. Today we're flipping the script. I'm going to show you how to mage Bandos on a budget setup. Now before you panic, it's actually not that hard once you get into the rhythm. And honestly, it's way more fun than it looks. We'll start with the boring growing up stuff first, like gear and inventory. And then we'll get into the good part, strategy and a live run where you can actually see how it all works. Alright, let's do this. So the first thing I recommend are supply drops. This makes trips last a lot longer. All you need is 4 restores and then fill the rest with anglers. Here's one I'm rocking. I got an ancient wyvern shield, Zamorak cape or literally any god cape that you have, occult necklace, void mage setup. Yep, we're voiding today. And eternal boots along with a brimstone ring. So in total, it's around 70 million coins. But if that price tag made you cry inside, swap the wyvern shield for a malediction ward, and boom, now you're running a 50 million setup. Cheap, but still deadly. Alright, so this is my inventory. Here's what I'm packing. I got the accursed scepter. Yes, there's a good reason for this, so hang tight, I'll tell you why shortly. Bones to Peach's tabs. A couple of forgotten brews for that sweet magic boost, 2 super defense potions, some anglers, restores, stamina potions. I got my Sanguistini staff, home teleport, because safety is important, right guys? And of course, I got runes for ice barrage and blood barrage. So now why the scepter? Its spec lowers magic by 15% and it can auto cast ancients. So this will make casting ice barrage on General Graardor a lot easier. Alright, so this is my prayer setup. I'm rolling with augury and will be prayer switching between range and melee. Don't stress, I'll show you the exact timing later on in the video. Oh, and one big tip, always keep your weapons on long range. The extra space makes a huge difference in space management when fighting Graardor. So now we're going to do a quick strategy review. Don't worry if you get lost during the process. We're going to go into more detail during the live process and go into more detail. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing we want to do is we want to catch or freeze on General Graardor. And when we do that, next we want to freeze Stars and Strong stack. Next, we want to use our Cursed Scepter spec on him. If you missed, don't worry, you got a second spec. After that, use your Sang staff on General Graardor. And use the 6 tiles as reference on where to go next. Watch Bandos and be ready to move when he moves. Switch to your Cursed Scepter and then protect from melee once he gets within your range. And then switch to protect from missiles once he's out of your range. Alright, you want to try to catch a freeze. After you caught a freeze, freeze the Sergeant Strong Shack again. And use the Sang Staff on General Graardor. And repeat the process until he dies. Once he dies, use Blood Barrage on the minions to heal, and then pick up any items that you have on the ground that you want to pick up, use Bones of Peaches, and then do some potion inventory management, restore your prayer, and then head back to the start point, ready for the next wave. Alright, that's pretty much it. Now we're going to do a live example, and before we start, make sure you have NPC indicators on for RuneLight so you can see Bandos' true tiles. Alright, so we're at the door. I'm making sure my quick prayers are correct, which is missiles and augury. I'm making sure my run energy on, and then I'm sipping my potions, which is my forgotten brew, my super restore, my super defense, and my stamina. Make sure your auto cast is on for the accursed scepter, and once I get in, I'm gonna ice barrage General Graardor, try to freeze him, and once I do that, I'm gonna try to freeze Sergeant Strong stack. And then I'm going to use my Cursed Scepter spec on General Graardor. And then switch to my Sang staff and mage him from afar. So if everything goes correctly, you should have 58% accuracy. And then once General Graardor starts to move, we'll go to the next tile and start to freeze him. And then once we hit our freeze, we'll freeze Sergeant Strong stack again. And then switch to our Sang staff and then start to mage Bandos. Okay, make sure you're using long range. Wait for Bandos to move. Once he starts moving, run to the next tile. Switch to your Cursed Scepter. And start to freeze him. Once he gets too close, turn on Protect from melee. And once you freeze him, switch to your Sang staff. You can also use your Sang staff to Ice Barrage on the Strong stack. if you don't want to switch to your Cursed Scepter. Alright, move to the next tile. Once he gets too close, protect from melee, and then protect from missiles once he's out of your range. Alright, try to catch a freeze. And we'll freeze Sergeant Strong stack again. And we'll keep hitting him. If you have to eat during any part of this, make sure you skip the tile and go to the next tile because of the attack delay. Otherwise, Bandos will hit you and he could get you for all your HP. If you catch a freeze, always go to the next tile because you never know if it's going to be Sergeant Strong stack's freeze or General Graardor's freeze, especially if they're underneath each other. Alright, so now Graardor is dead. We're going to heal up now. So what we can do is we can cast Ice Barrage on one of the minions because if the space is too large between them, and then just stand under them and then use Ice Barrage on one of the minions until one dies. And then you can switch back to the other one and then use Blood Barrage on the other minion until it dies. So with this strategy, you can do somewhere between 12 to 16 kills per trip, which is pretty good. Restore prayer at the altar if you can. Bone the peaches, the bones. Grab some food from your food pile if you want to. And then head back to the start point, ready for the next one. Once he spawns, turn on quick prayers, try to catch a freeze. If we miss, then go to the next tile and try to catch a freeze again. Switch to protect melee when it gets too close, and run around the room until you catch a freeze, using the 6 old tiles as reference. As you can see here, I missed like 8 times before I got a freeze. Sometimes that's just how it is. It can definitely be frustrating at times. But you know, keep at it and you might just get lucky. That's right guys, I got a Tassus drop, like even I couldn't believe it during filming, which was pretty crazy. So, you know, once I got the Tassus, I'm like, okay, I'm getting out of here, right? I'm done. So that's a nice 16 miller for the bank. Look at those Tassus, boys. Damn, I look good, don't I? Anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video and learned how to Mage Bandos from watching this video. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know how your Bandos Mage runs goes. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.